Hi everyone, this is Jiggy, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So in today's video, I want to share a brand new product that I am totally excited about. But before anything else, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and would want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, then this channel is for you. So you might want to consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggy Alejandrino. So for you guys who are familiar with the channel, you know that this channel is filled with lighting tutorials, whether it be inside this small home studio or outdoor where I am controlling the sun. And one of the things that I always try to demonstrate is how to maximize the power of one tiny speed light. And I've done multiple demos about that, some of which I'll put the link in the description below. And I use mostly ND filters to maximize the power of my flash. And that is why I am so excited with this new particular product, because there's one thing that I've always had a problem with, especially when I use VariND filters. Now, ND filters have no issues whatsoever, but more often than not, when I use VariND filters, which makes it more flexible for me, especially when I am controlling midday or outdoor sun, is that I do get a bit of color cast with most VariND filters. But now, Freewell sent me their new system. It's a K2, and they said that it gives true color, and I am so excited about it. Now, full disclosure, this video is not sponsored by Freewell. However, they gave me this filter set for testing, but they don't have any control about my thoughts about the specific product. So what is this filter system? They call this one the Freewell K2. Now, what is the Freewell K2? Basically, it's a holder, or it's a system that allows you to put VariNDs, single stacked filters, or square filters. Now, of course, you might ask the question, what is a flash photographer or a portrait photographer or a wedding photographer doing with a filter system like this, which is normally reserved for cinematographers or landscape photographers? Well, as I said earlier in my intro, I use a lot of off-camera flash, and for me, this is a better option than using high-speed sync. And I need the option of VariND, meaning a variable ND filter, so that it's easier for me to control my exposure by having my flash sync speed set within my flash sync speed, which is for this camera 1/250, and I can control my existing ambient light using a filter system like this, which for me is really a lot easier because I can change the density of my filter without having to physically remove the filter and replacing it with a new one. And that is what a VariND does. And as I said earlier, my biggest problem is that most VariND filters have a color cast, but this one is touted to have true tone, in other words, no color shifting. And it is also very nice because it's future-proof in the sense that there are times that I would use my lens like this one. This is a 24-70, which has an 82mm filter thread. Therefore, I have an 82mm filter thread here that attaches directly to the back of this one. This is the main base where you attach most of all the filters. So there's a rear cap here that I can just remove. Then I can attach this 82mm filter to the lens of my camera, like so. And just by a click, I can now attach this base here. And if I want it more secure, I can always lock it in place like so it won't move there. Now, it also comes in this particular package, it also comes options for, this one's a 67mm, this one's a 72mm, and you've got a 77mm. So basically, it has most of my lenses filter size in this particular case already, and it's got two. You've got right here, you've got a magnetic cap, of course, to protect your filter, and you have two VariND filters. Wait, let me put this in the case. It also comes with this nice little case, right? So it's pretty cool. So you have this one. This is the 1 to 5 stop VariND filter. In other words, it stops down from 1 stop to 5 stops. And you have 6 to 9 stops here, another VariND filter. But all you have to do is flip it, When you flip it, it now becomes a CPL, and this one also does the same thing. All you have to do is flip it. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, there. It's got an ND32 and a CPL. So let's put this here first. So how does this work? Well, it magnetically just attaches to that. Then all you have to do is align it properly. You'll hear it click anyway there. So you've got a marker here on the side that tells you how many stops you're at. There, you see that? It actually locks in place there. So from here, I can shift it to 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops, and 5 stops. That's basically how simple it is. So if I am shooting, let's say I want it at 1/250 f 2.8 maybe, and I have my existing ambient light is at f8. So all I have to do is stop this one down to bring my aperture to f2.8 and still maintain my flash sync speed or my shutter speed to 1/250, which allows me now to maximize the power of my flash. Now, what makes this particular system so special? Well, whenever you're using this VariND system, you also have what you call here your base. This is your VariND base. Now, you could remove this VariND base, and with other filter systems made by Freewell, you could just magnetically attach it here. Let me show you. Let me show you here. There. You could just magnetically attach it here in this slot. So you could have the ND1000, you could put any other circular filter that Freewell manufactures and just snap it on here and make it like a normal filter like that. Now, if you're going to be using the VariND option, you need this VariND base, and then again, you just attach the VariND filter here from 1 to 5 stops, and again, we have the 6 to 9 option. Now, it just doesn't stop there. With landscape photographers also, you want a filter system like this that have, let's say, hard edge graduated ND filters. Instead of a VariND filter, you've got an ND filter maybe just on the top of the filter and some, or basically you could flip it and have it in the bottom. But there's always going to be a line in the middle, which basically circular filters cannot do. That's why this particular case or this particular mount is so nice, because it allows all the types of filters that Freewell creates, and it makes just work with just one system like this. So you could basically have a bubble level here in the back. So you could align this filter to make it center, then lock it in place. Then, wait, let me show you. I'll show you the bubble level. There's a bubble level right here in the back. And all you have to do is, wait, there we go. Open up these 2 flaps here, and there's a slot here on top, which allows you now to slide the square filters or the rectangular filters. This is what I was referring to earlier. This is a GND filter. I think this is the hard edge one. Yes, it's a hard edge 0.9 GND filter. So I can now slot it in right here in the back, which, there we go. I'll slot it in right here in the back. I'll face it forward so you guys can see. I'll slot it in here. And now I can control my horizon on which part I want to be filtered and which part I don't want. This is basically a technique used by landscape photographers. Even though I am a portrait photographer, sometimes I do enjoy shooting landscapes too. And it's beautiful to have just one filter system for my portrait work, and at the same time also for some landscape work that I need to do. And sometimes I actually play around with this one. I actually use this filter here this way, have the sky darker already so that I don't have to push the lights too much, then pop a light, or it's just to balance basically my highlights and my shadows. So it's a nice option. Now for cinematographers, you also have different types of, let's say, the mist filter or the glow filter or the, well, let me bring it out. You've got the cinemorphic gold streak or the diffusion glow mist. Basically, everything or every piece of square filter or rectangular filter that Freewell makes comes in its own leather case, which is a nice touch. And here, you could put it down. You could close this one here so that it just locks in place here in the bottom. And you've got your, what is this one? This is the diffusion glow mist. Then that's why they call this filter system the K2 future proof, because it actually works with most of their filter systems already created and what you're going to be making in the future. However, one downside for this particular system, which I personally am a little bit iffy about, is that it's actually huge. It's like, for example, here, when I take this one out and put it in this container, this one will take up a lot of space in my camera bag. So maybe I might not even use this particular case and just have, let's say, a 72. Well, actually, it's nicely packaged, so I might really use this case. I have to find a way to put this inside my bag because this one basically replaces another lens. So if I want to really pack light, I have to find a way to do this. But again, this way, maybe I can just put it outside my bag and strap it on, so it might work that way. So once again, take this one out, put it in its respective case, and then this one, once again, you could put back the original cover, like so, and the back cover to keep the dust out, and it packs away like that. Okay, so that's a Freewell K2. And what do I think about it? It actually is an amazing system to cater to the needs of every type of photographer and videographer or cinematographer. And the main selling point for me personally is the fact that it did not have a color cast. And that in itself, I am already so happy about. So I really do have to find a way to put this in my bag. So if you guys have any questions with regards to this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Now, if you want to know more about this system, I will put the link in the description below. And right now, you could still get a special price because it is still on its initial starter campaign. So once again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggy Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.